We'll keep it short.
Oh, okay, okay.
No problem.
Thank you.
So how are you doing, sir?
Well, trying to recover from the flight all night long.
So, so this is your first time to Islamabad or
Second time.
second time? When was it last time?
Which month was it? 5 months ago? Yaşar, ne zaman girdim ben daha önce?
In December 2021,
Okay.
to the last
Again.
OIC meeting.
Okay, okay.
meeting.
To the OIC meeting again. So this
On Afghanistan.
yes, and again for the OIC meeting.
Yes.
So you would need you to remove your mask so that you can take some pictures.
Right.
So हम भी remove कर लेते एक बना देना फिर इकट्ठी. I'll keep mine here. So
Yes.
let him just make some pictures so that. So how did you find Islamabad? In both of your visits, Actually, you have come at a time when the weather is quite pleasant. So.
Yeah, it is present. Back home, it's very cold still in Cyprus. They're experiencing the coldest March in almost 50 years.
So we are having the hottest March for 2 years. Actually, temperatures in March won't go beyond 19, but this time we have already touched 31, 32.
Yeah.
So quite an opposite phenomenon.
Well, I'm not complaining.
No, I'm just telling you
Enjoying
a coincidence.
Enjoying it.
So, sir, we'll talk about situation back in your country, especially with regard to your intercommunal talks. Because many people don't know the happenings there in Trnc. So, just for background, what is the current status of the intercommunal talks? And do you see any convergences developing for the the future of those talks? Right now, our assessment is that they are stalemated or they have collapsed. So are there any convergences on which they can build and restart the negotiation process?
No. First of all, the process of intercommunal talks is finished.
Okay.
Since 2017, the position of the Turkish Cypriot side, supported by mainland Turkey, is that intercommunal talks are finished.
Okay.
What does this mean? It doesn't mean we are not prepared to negotiate anymore. What it means is no more negotiations like the ones we went through for the past 53 years, which is Greek Cypriots are recognized as if they are so-called Republic of Cyprus, and we are treated as if we are a minority community of that Greek Cypriot Republic. So there is inequality in statuses.
Okay.
Greek Cypriot state representing the state, we are representing the community. That is why almost 60 years of negotiations failed to produce a result because of the inequality in status. For any negotiations to have a chance of success, those negotiating must be on equal status. If one is more equal than the other, then the less equal has no option but to be dominated by the more equal. That is why the Cyprus issue, after almost 6 decades of negotiations, failed to produce an outcome. That is why, as of 2017, we have said that so long as the Greek Cypriots are the state and we are the community, no more negotiations. Experience has shown that there is no chance of success. So, from now on, if there is going to be negotiations, both sides are to be treated as states. One island, two states. And as such, the process of intercommunal talks can no longer be called intercommunal talks because this is not negotiation of communities. If there's going to be negotiations from now on, it's going to be negotiations of two states. One island, two states. Two states living side by side, hopefully with good neighborly relations, but not no partnership anymore. No single international personality, no federation, no confederation. Two separate states on the same island, side by side, good neighborly relations, if possible. So this is the status of
So that brings
Cyprus.
me to the next question. You said that you are seeking a status as of a separate state, not a part of Cyprus, a separate community.
Because we are not.
Yes, you are not. So have you now finally decided on seeking international recognition? Because you, as we see in the past, you were not very active on this aspect.
We were not for many years because there was, as you said, intercommunal talks.
Yes.
If you are involved in negotiations to establish a partnership with another side, you cannot at the same time go out and seek recognition. Which is the one you want? Recognition or partnership? So almost 60 years of negotiations prevented us from actively seeking recognition. Now, the present policy of two states says, and the Greek Cypriots refuse to accept two states, and the UN Secretary General, Koyar, yok, nedir Secretary General'ın adı?
Antonio Guterres.
Guterres. Koyar was years ago.
Yes.
Guterres says he called a meeting in Geneva in 2017 to determine if there is a common ground for negotiations. We went to Geneva. After 2 days of negotiations, not negotiations, but exchange of views, attended by Greece, Turkey, UK, three guarantor countries, as you know, of 1960, us and the Greek Cypriots, and the Secretary General, Guterres. He said, there is no common ground, but I will not declare it, he said. In a few months, I will call another round of exchange of views, and then I will clarify the position, if there is common ground or not. He has not called the second round, because he knows that if he does, he will inevitably say there is no common ground, because the likelihood of a common ground is nil. There is no common ground. What do I mean by common ground? There is no way we will accept to be treated as a community when the Greek Cypriots are treated as the state. And for common ground to exist is for the Greek Cypriots to accept the fact there are two former partners on the island of Cyprus of equal status. They are the state, we are the state. A Greek Cypriot state, Turkish Cypriot state. If that is on the table, then there will be negotiations for good neighborly relations, not for partnership in a single international personality. So we have given the Secretary General another chance to, we're not forcing him to declare today that there is no common ground, because if he says there is no common ground now, inevitably he has to go back to the Security Council and say, I am handing over my job as a mission of good offices. There is no common ground, no negotiations, no solution. I cannot do this job, and hand over his job. Because he is trying to avoid saying that, he is not calling for a second meeting. But we're giving him an option, not forever. We will come to the position you asked me about, being active in seeking recognition. We'll get there, but it's not as if we're using the problem of the Secretary General as an excuse to do it as soon as possible. But there is no other way forward.
So, but have you spoken about this matter with your Pakistani colleagues? You are here for the second time.
Well,
Did at any stage this thing come up in your meetings with Pakistanis?
No.
About recognition?
When I was here a few months ago, it was the Cyprus issue was not on the agenda. It was strictly Afghanistan.
No, your bilateral meetings. You must have met people from Foreign Office, Foreign Ministry.
I have not sat down and actively talked about the Cyprus problem with your foreign minister. Off the record.
Yes.
This must be off the record.
Okay.
To try to do that now is going to create problems for your foreign minister, because the Greek Cypriots and other allies of the Greeks will create problems for you. We don't want to secure an advantage for us, and in doing so create problems for our allies, for our friends. We know that Pakistan is with us. We know that. Turkish-Pakistani relationship is historically a huge success. But again, my main message here with your question is, it's not worth securing an advantage for us, but in doing so, creating disadvantages for our Pakistani friends. The time will come.
That's very kind of you.
Time will come.
Now that that was off the record part, so for the record's sake, how do you see Pakistan's stance on this Turkish Cyprus issue?
They are doing their best to treat us the way we want to be treated. We have an office here in Islamabad. The lady here is our representative. The way the office and she are treated is as if Trnc is a recognized country by Islamabad, by Pakistan. The way we are treated here is exactly the way we are treated in Ankara. So we are quite happy with our Pakistani friends and brothers. We know that if it was possible for them to do more, they would gladly do it. But we are not, as I said, we are not interested in securing that and upsetting our Pakistani friends. Time will come. We have to be patient.
So, what's your expectations from Pakistan?
Well, many things we can do without politics being involved. One example is friendship association of Trnc Parliament with the Pakistani Parliament. Members of Parliament establishing a friendship association. Academic partnerships. You have some students who come to Trnc. We should encourage university exchanges. Our universities visiting Pakistan universities visiting Trnc universities, bilateral relations, tourism, cultural activities. These activities which will not create problems for our Pakistani friends politically. I mean, a cultural activity, who's going to object to it? So many things can be done. Trade can be done with the help of Turkey. Tourism can be done. Pakistani tourists coming to Turkey, and the plane touches down in Turkey and then comes to North Cyprus. So rather than seeking outright recognition for the TRNC from Islamabad now, improved relations economically, academically, culturally, socially, these exchanges, these activities can be brought to the foreground. Politics will come later.
And are you meeting the foreign minister during this visit?
Well, I will be meeting many foreign ministers in tomorrow's exchanges, deliberations. Seeing the Secretary General of OSCE in 45 minutes' time. I have met your foreign minister in the past as well. We met in Antalya, the diplomacy forum last year. I met him a few months ago when I was here again. I respect him a lot. He is a good friend. He's doing a good job.
So thank you for sparing time. It was wonderful to hear your insights about Pakistan and